Good evening. Residents on the mid-north coast have returned to have their worst fears confirmed. Sludge and mud covers much of Taree's homes and businesses, meaning that many have lost everything. As we go to air, 28 warnings remain in place across the state, and sadly the death toll has risen to 4.
As the Manning River retreats from its historic high, the road into Taree has re-emerged, and with that, locals from low-lying areas have been able to return home. For Min Nguyen, it's meant confirmation he's lost everything but the clothes on his back.
That's it. There's nothing left.
Waist-deep water inundated every room, the top bunk basically the only survivor.
But this one here, it's still got one more bed, one more mattress here on the top.
He moved his family to Taree a year ago, seeking fresh air because his wife became seriously sick. A home on the banks of Browns Creek was a drawcard, but it betrayed him. For neighbouring businesses on Crescent Avenue, the clean-up is overwhelming.
Everything's gone. I've lost absolutely everything.
And amid their devastation, they're also dirty at their insurers.
If it comes through the roof, I was right, but if it comes up from the ground, act of God.
But when the heavens opened, it unleashed hell and high water. At D&D Technology, all the mud-soaked tech is now street-side trash.
Pretty much everything had to go out of there, went through above head height.
And while Taree Radiators was the best place to take a leak, they weren't expecting a leak this large.
Devastating, really. So we're just got to get rid of everything and go from there, and hopefully insurance comes good.
The death toll from the flood emergency has now hit 4, with a woman in her 60s found dead in her car at Dorrigo, also a man in his 70s northwest of Coffs Harbour, and there are still fears for a 5th person, a man missing in floodwaters in Nimboida.
This is a dangerous circumstance, and even when the rain stops falling from the sky, sometimes the waters keep rising for a period of time.
Further south near Kempsey, it's been 4 years since flood forced farmer Kevin to travel along this highway on his tinny.
Being down there by yourself at night, you can hear everyone's cattle calling out and just hope they're doing fine as well. So it's been a long stretch the last 48 hours.
Major flood levels remain there. In Port Macquarie, it's moderate. But this is what moderate looks like. Water levels covering the ground floor of these homes. The Manning River at Taree now also moderate. Now that the floodwaters have receded over these parts of Taree, the only way to get rid of all this mud is with more water. A mammoth clean-up effort is needed before these businesses and residents can even think about rebuilding. For families, $900 hardship grants are now up for grabs.
Assistance will begin to flow soon.
As the rivers recede, the long road to recovery begins. Paris Martin for 10 News First.
And Chris Campy is live for us tonight at Taree. Chris, we have heard from a family of one of these flood victims today who say police led her to her death.
We have, Sandra, and I must stress this is a horrific situation for all involved in it, but 6-year-old Pauline Fitzsimmons, she was near Coffs Harbour. She drowned in her four-wheel drive in floodwaters there. Now, what we know is that she was in contact with a police officer in a BMW sedan. They discussed the road ahead. He said he wasn't going to proceed. It was a little too high for him, and she went on without him. She did leave her, he had his mobile number with her as she went ahead. 20 minutes later, she called in an hysteric state and was clearly in distress and in trouble. Unfortunately, she couldn't be found and her body was later located. Now, the family today, in a statement, they say he guided her into floodwaters and left her to her own devices, and that our mother, the idea that our mother was a reckless driver is a terrible lie. Obviously, sympathies have been extended to that family and also to the officer involved. It's likely an investigation will follow. Now, the danger in this region is not over. Just because the water level is dropping a little bit, the threat is still quite high because people are moving around now and a lot of those roads are still underwater, as is the continuing cleanup. Now, this is in Taree, the Aquatic Club, and they well and truly went under. They've got the fire brigade here this evening helping them get this mountain of mud out of the club, and Pete and a small army of guys are in there. You can see that pressure hose is just pumping that silt and mud from the floor of the club. They have been under before in 2021. They've experienced flooding before, but nothing like this. So today, as this river out there does drop a little bit, it's only revealing more and more heartache in this region.
All right, Chris, thank you. And as that weather system moves south, Sydney was, in fact, next in the firing line, and it copped an absolute soaking. Flash flooding caused mayhem for commuters as dams threatened to spill and highways up the coast quickly disappeared.
Parramatta Wharf swallowed up by a roaring river. An overnight soaking across the city filled waterways and created entirely new waterfalls. As the extreme weather system turned its attention to Sydney.
Generally over the Sydney metro area, since 9 o'clock, they've seen between about 60 and 100 millimetres.
The morning rat race around the soaked inner west made for a challenging commute.
Please drive to the conditions, drive slowly, be courteous to your fellow drivers, watch out for pedestrians.
Minor flooding swept through low-lying properties, including Marrickville's Addison Road Community Pantry. The organisation forced to close its doors on a day that usually sees 400 people come through in need of food.
So we're putting together hampers so that people that come, they don't go away empty-handed.
Always among the first to help in a crisis, volunteers here have been working on donations to send to communities up north like Taree.
So they're telling us the conditions and what's going on, and they've asked us if we can prepare hampers.
From spots along the Hawkesbury where rivers were already swollen after weeks of rain, to the Hunter, where volunteers are doing supply drops to cut off areas like Morpeth.
I hate to tell you a little secret, but I'm a fan of salt and vinegar chips.
Bags of goods hand-picked and delivered by boat. While on the Central Coast, highways have become roads to nowhere as flash flooding cut off towns and disrupted weekend travel plans. A real dog of a day on the weather front as the city finally begins to dry out. Taylor Ryan for 10 News First.
An update now from our meteorologist Josh Holt. And Josh, a reprieve is almost here.
Yeah, that's right. We're beginning to see that rain clear to the south, Sandra. As we go live to air this evening, though, let's check out the latest satellite imagery. You can see the cloud band here extending offshore of New South Wales, down through southeastern parts, the south coast and Illawarra. But let's take a look at the Sydney region firstly. Now, we do have a flood watch and act, which is current right now for the area of Chipping Norton in Sydney. So just keep that in the back of your minds if you do live through that neck of the woods. We've seen huge amounts of rain, though, as you could just see there on the radar across areas of Sydney. And in fact, we have seen some records broken. We'll get to that in a moment. As I just mentioned, though, that rain is surging a little bit further south, and you can see this yellow shaded area. That's a severe weather warning for heavy rain, which extends across the Illawarra and south coast tonight. But I'm expecting that warning to be updated, possibly cancelled over the next couple of hours, because that rain band is beginning to push offshore. Have a look at these rain totals. 181 millimetres into the rain gauge at Richmond. That is the wettest 24-hour period for the month of May on record. We also saw the wettest days on record for May for areas like Penrith and Terry Hills, the city picking up 72 millimetres into the gauge too. Let's take a look at the forecast modelling. So this was today. You can see all that rain drenching Sydney, Wollongong, Nowra and Bega. But just as I showed you a moment ago, that rain band is starting to shift off the coast. And in fact, we should start to see clear conditions as we rise up and out of bed on Saturday morning, I should say. We'll have that full forecast of the weekend coming up 5 to 6.
We're looking forward to that one. Thank you, Josh.